Telly, what do you think sets the Lunar Laugh apart from all those other bands?
I think the Lunar Laugh is really good songwriting from a band.
Welcome to the world. We can make it our world, and we can live here together, you and me. We can have some fun if we clean up when we're done.
You know, there's some venues or some, bands that sometimes might seem like if you're not cool enough to really appreciate them, like you feel like you aren't really part of it. But I feel like the Lunar Laugh they're just so palatable without being completely watered down. They still have an artistic point of view that I think is really nice.
When I woke up, you were crying. Bitter tears made me feel like dying. Is it too late to kiss and make up? We've been together too long to break up. There by the light of the living room, I watched it all go down.
All the shows kind of have this unforced feel. It's like an organic kind of thing.
Every show feels different. Like it never feels like we're just kind of going through the motions, doing the same old banter. I feel like every show has a little bit of like different little moments, and they're memorable in their own way.
There's a spontaneity that still keeps it fresh for us.
We may at practice go into a jam on something like Barracuda by Heart, and then we decide that's kind of cool to do. Where would we put that in the set? And then we were like, okay, it's in this key, so before this song. So there's just sort of a, we'll riff on something and then it'll turn into a show piece. So
it's always a good time. It's always laid back, easygoing, very happy, very positive, and there's not a lot of pressure. Like I really like how it really is just open and welcoming to everyone.
Songs like Apollo and On the Road, they definitely have grown because we play them every show we do. So we'll just change our phrasing or throw in a different solo, or just make it a little more rockin', a little more upbeat, change the tempo a little bit. Things like that are what we do for our own amusement, really, as well as for the audience's enjoyment. We're playing for ourselves as much as we're playing for the audience.
Hey, tell me a story about the kids with the wolf at the door, the kind of story they don't tell anymore. Hey, tell me a story.
Hey guys, smile.
It's become more of them, more of the whole band. Like, the Lunar Laugh is more of Jared and more of Connor and more of Campbell in a really good way.
The evolution of the sound of the Lunar Laugh is really interesting to trace. Back whenever Apollo came out and you had very clear influences. I think the Lunar Laugh has always had an original voice in a sense, but I feel like the more recent stuff they're a little bit harder to trace. I feel like it's all blended a bit more interestingly, and I think a lot of that probably has to do with all the band members sort of having a say as well, which is nice.
The team of songwriting that is the Lunar Laugh is just really good songs in the traditional sense. And I think Jared's old school mentality really contributes to that really well.
Jared is the, figurehead, El Presidente, if you will. He's the captain.
Jared's the OG, He calls the shots. He everything kind of starts with him.
I think maybe before I would have thought like, oh, it's basically Jared's band with accompaniment, but it really is more the Lunar Laugh. It's all of them together making awesome music.
Connor and I started this together as like an acoustic duo. And, you know, we were playing like these coffee clubs, kind of smaller venues, and it kind of grew organically. And Connor, like the first time we ever sang a note together, the harmony gave me like goosebumps. He's an excellent singer, really excellent guitarist. His finger picking style is something I really envy quite a bit.
It would please me if you stay. We could steal this.
Connor, he is amazing singer, great songwriter, underrated guitar player, and all around, he seems like a nice guy.
Campbell plays guitar.
I'm waiting for a sign. I'm waiting for a sign. I'm waiting for a sign.
And I remember the day that Connor said, hey, we should get Campbell in the band, and I said, I 100% agree. And since we did that, Campbell's kind of stepped it up. He's become our lead guitarist, and you know, he's a great vocalist, great songwriter, and every solo on this live album he just knocks right out of the park. I think that's an important thing about this live album, is it really showcases what the other musicians contribute in a live setting versus in a studio where you're working bit by bit. In a live setting you're just kind of feeding off each other and kind of in a frenzy.
I'm waiting for a sign. I'm waiting for a sign.
It was really fun to go through some of the older takes from previous shows and just see how far it's come from those to then the record to then what wound up on the live record.
The album release show for Goodnight Noises Everywhere. It was such a cool setup in Breathing Rhythm Studio in Norman. And just getting to have all our family and friends there. It was really cool.
Make it pure, keep it simple. Leave me with more than a smile. Hey, tell me a story about the maids and cabbages and kings, and help me take my mind off some things.
There was a tweet that somebody made about just lamenting the lack of harmonies and vocal multi-part vocals that exist in modern pop and rock music anymore. And when I saw that, the first thing I thought was, well, the Lunar Laugh is still doing it at least. And it's true. I mean, the Lunar Laugh, it definitely keeps those multi-part harmonies alive. It's a bit of a throwback, but I think it's really an important part. There, you know, it works in a way that, it adds so much to the tone of what's going on. It's still musical. And yeah, why wouldn't you just throw harmonies in places?
Every song is a full experience, a full story. The craft of songwriting is always very present.
One that will make us laugh till we cry. Tell me the story about you and I.
You really do get that sense from the new live album, which is recorded between two album cycles. You kind of catch this really nice moment of transition, which is pretty cool. I feel like, you know, any good band out there never wants to do the same thing over and over again for their whole career. You're always in a state of evolution, and whenever you see a band live, you catch them at some point in time, and sometimes they're, you know, on a sort of plateau with a new record, or they're working on something new and they start playing new stuff that's not out yet.
Yeah, definitely all eras of Lunar Laugh. There's pre-Campbell, there's Campbell, Jared, and Connor, and then there's, the stuff with Jimmy and everyone else.
Thank you.
Bonus tracks.
Yeah, there's a new song called I Wanna Know. Well, it's new as in it's newly released. We recorded it during the Good Noises Everywhere session, but unfortunately we had to cut it out. But we knew it would see a release someday, and that time is now.
And I wanna know, where does all the time go? Sunday to Sunday, fade into the gray.
I thought this would be so easy.
The excitement continues to build.
A good show memory was, it was a Christmas show, so the venue had Christmas lights hung up, and I can't remember what song it was before, but Jimmy had taken the Christmas lights and wrapped them around himself, and Jared's dad, and you may be able to hear it in the record, I don't know if this particular moment made it in there, but you can just hear him go, "Are you all right there, Jim?"